Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
There's some alarming news coming out of the UK. The government is now deciding how much carbon you're allowed to use every single day, starting with your food. Just take a look at this sandwich. It uses 8.1% of your daily dietary carbon allowance. The UK has started labeling foods based on how much carbon they emit, and the goal is to limit how much carbon you can spend each day. They've been trying to implement this since 2008, and now it's finally here. And some restaurants, even cafes, have already started showing what percentage of your carbon allowance each meal uses, and conveniently tied to the exact time when they're rolling out digital IDs. Soon you'll have your digital ID inside your digital wallet, where you'll also store your carbon passport and track your personal carbon allowance. And don't forget your digital vaccine passport, which goes in there conveniently as well. If you want to travel or work, you'll need to make sure all of your records and boosters are up to date. So this might be the last time in history where you can travel, eat, and live freely without government permission. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and make sure to share this with someone who needs to know.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are living in the transition to a new time, which will change everything. It will change how we communicate, how we work, how we live. In the agricultural age, the economy was mainly based on agricultural products. In the industrial age, industrial products and services, more and more sophisticated. But now in this new age, the base will be knowledge, data, and intelligent insights. What does it mean for governments? Governments have to be enablers of this change at lightning speed. They have to provide the necessary infrastructure, and they have particularly to cooperate with business, because this transition into this new intelligent age will only be mastered if all stakeholders of global society work together. What we have to expect, according to the research of my organization, is that 50% of jobs will be directly or indirectly affected already in the next 5 to 10 years by this revolution.
We are living in a villain's world, and they designed it perfectly. We eat the food they give us, vote for one of two people that they tell us to, and watch the movies that they show. They take our attention as soon as we reach age 5, and they never give it back. We go to school for 8 hours a day learning what they want us to. They scold us until we obey, and then they praise us when we do. They make us form a habit of waking up and spending our entire day in a building that we wouldn't choose, so that when we get older, we are willing to do the same. Following orders becomes comfortable when we spend our childhood doing what we're told. So when we're older, we hesitate to stray outside the norm. They tell us that we should do anything we can to attend a university, because if we don't, we will fail. They manipulate us into financial dependency at a young age so that we stay liable to the system. They've given us a currency that only has value because they say it does, and we receive it by working at a business that they own. Their millions become billions, while the rest of us are forced to sacrifice our time for a minuscule fraction of what our work gains for them. We are
Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Makakadash, the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there, onto this like foreigners. From the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. The diabolical plan that's ingested into this world, obviously, is simmering through. And we've seen the results of everything that's been said, and how the people that's in power are responsible for this. However, this is also the sign of their downfall. And it's a good title. We're living in a villain world. But when you go and look into the word villain, did a long time ago, it really describes the poor. So really, we're in the wicked world. All right, the truly upside down world. Okay, matter of fact, Job 9:24. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. So the wicked runs this world. The wicked dictates what's in this world. Now, this is why you got Carl Schwab with this whole program of digital ID, the overthrow of governments, how you know what you eat, how you eat it. In the UK, they promoting straight up to totality. What how you say it again? Totalitarianism. All right. Technically, they're promoting draconian laws, even to the minute level, with the carbon taxes, with the carbon, how much you eat, how this is going to affect the environment, because it's all part of the system. I've been stressing about this for a while, but in order to grab it, to get everybody the way they want, you have to create a system, and they're creating a system with the false narrative of I don't this at this moment. I don't even know what the fuck the narrative is no more. When 2001 came about, they used the term terror. 2019 on up was what? The pandemic. So what are they gonna use? All right, they've been trying to squeeze in this thing that was called climate control. So they're gonna use something in order to fully implement their um their agenda. Okay, because the shit that they selling, people ain't buying no more. But this proves that the world is given to the hand of the wicked. It said he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? It's quite obvious. It's quite obvious who's running this shit. Who's running the world to a shithole? Is Esau, the so-called white man? All right, that's who's running this shit. Now she made this statement, and then that's what I was going to build upon. Isaiah 32:5. It says, "The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful." Vile. Now, when you look it up in the Hebrew, it doesn't really give you much. But when you look it up, what was I looking at? Word vile. Extremely unpleasant, morally bad, wicked. So the wicked person no longer called what? Shall no more be called liberal. Liberal means noble. All right, someone that's noble, and what they come into realization, especially with Trump and this whole Epstein debacle, and they're trying to push the age of consent, so that way anything of that Epstein shit taking place, he's gonna look morally decent. Okay, and that's I'm gonna do another show on that too, because there's a lot of obviously misinformation on that whole thing, because they're trying to change the narrative how wicked they are. Okay, even though they want to come down hard as a dragon, they still try to maintain some form of decor, so to speak. All right. It says, "Nor the churl said to be bountiful." Let me look up the word churl again. Scoundrel, right? Naive, or novice, nav. Ooh, there's strong definition in the sense of withholding, niggardly, and that's dumb. And what does niggardly means? Means someone that's greedy. Now, you could sit there and talk shit about Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans all day, but who runs this world? Who has more than they can heart can desire? Uh, Sirach 14 and 2. Nah, it's 3. Riches are not comely for a niggard, and what should an envious man do with money? So niggard or niggardly means greedy. And these mother effers are trying to squeeze the life out of you. This is true oppression that's taking place, live and direct. Okay, y'all want to know what this thing is all about? What they doing? They going to oppress you, then squeeze the life out of you. They're gonna crush you. They're gonna destroy you. Okay, it says, "He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others, that they should spend his goods righteously. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods." So even amongst some own selves, who's really running this show out of the tribe of Edom, the small hat wearers, and they don't give two shit about the rest of the Edom. It's quite obvious now. It's becoming that the small hatters considered this land, America, Europe, EU, Edom. Yet they use Edom to help them in that land. So they don't give a damn about you. This whole notion of the nuclear family being destroyed, this great grand scheme that they had for the poor, is falling back on you. So they don't give a damn about y'all. And y'all realizing, and this is why that young woman said the world's run by villains. All right. It says, "There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is his recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he would declare his wickedness." And we've seen the results of his wickedness. So going back to this, Isaiah 32 and 6, "For the vile person will speak villainly." Right now, the Hebrew word is nab, nabalah, senseless folly, disgraceful folly of immortality, profane action, disgrace, contumely, disgrace, feminine in the sense, foolishness, that is moral wickedness, constructively a crime, by an extension, punishment, folly, vile, villainy. So the things that they say that come out their mouth is completely against what the Lord established, point blank, period. This is why the scripture says, I'm going to quote it. In every show we talk about this subject, all of us should quote that. Proverbs 28, 9 and 2. "When the righteous beareth rule, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn." The people are in mourning. They're being sold a lie continuously. They're being told, in order to save the future, you have to make sacrifices. And these sacrifices have nothing to do with the future at all. It's just complete control. You was trained to be controlled from the youth up. You was told to get an education just to be indoctrinated. And now we're coming to the pivotal point where they want to implement their new world order system. You people have no chance at all because the future don't fit. This is why they want to get rid of majority of people that have tasted or have grew up in a certain era where we know for a fact this shit that they selling is garbage. All right. This is why they want to go and attack the youth. What does a child know about the past, about the 80s, the 90s? All right. What do they know about freedom of some sort when he was able to talk about certain things? You can express your differences without anything. They don't want that. They want a world where everybody um commits and apply. How the hell are you saving the planet by not the food that's in the world? Everything in the world, it was made to be used by man. But yet you being programmed to believe that if you eat a cow, you're harming the planet. So let me read this again. So for the vile person, when to speak villainy, and his heart will he work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy. So simultaneously, they tell you not to do this or do that, but they themselves have the best everything. They get to eat the finest cuisine. They get to live and they fly in a private jets wherever they want, the jet setting wherever they want. They're manipulating the world to see it as it fit. Okay, and it says to utter error against the Lord. Like, yeah, when you hear the concept of there's too many people in the planet, that's saying the Lord didn't know what He was doing. All right, that's saying that the Lord had no idea that the world's going to be overpopulated, which is all lies. I always say the world is more than enough. Matter of fact, it's not even enough people to dwell on the earth as it is. So how much more the kingdom of heaven when there's going to be new lands, all right? And what the scripture says, and like it says in Genesis, it says, well, it said in Genesis twice, and the Lord's going to give that command: be fruitful and multiply. To be fruitful and multiply, there's no set limit of anything. Okay, the Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply" for a reason. So this man's going out there telling the world, "Nah, we gotta do the opposite." He is as deaf. It says to make empty the soul of the hungry, and will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And they doing that. You gotta buy water, all right? You gotta buy food where you couldn't before. You was able to farm your own food, take care of your own self. Nope. This is all part of their masterful plan, man. And the ultimate plan is to start these what do you call it? These 15-minute cities, all right, to control every single thing that a person does. They in a minute level. I was just watching another video. It was basically saying that you don't really have to file for no digital ID. They already got everything that they want. Okay, that's why the scripture says here. It says the instrument also of the churl, of the scoundrel, or the pieces of shits that they are evil. Eve, bad, ill time. No, sorry, ill, bad, Eve time, bad times. So the bad times are coming. All right. This is why they're implementing this. What is that instrument? That's the RFID microchip. That's the solution that they selling to the people. Once again, something is gonna take place where they're gonna put fear in the minds of the people. It's crazy how things are changing so dramatically, such in a rapid pace. But you know what? It's necessary. This is why what Second Ezra in the 9th chapter tells you: when you shall see the uproars of the people. The people are they're in an uproar. They didn't sign up for this shit. So we live in a wicked world with wicked people that's in charge. But their wickedness is peaking because now the people are going to take matters into their own hand. They're gonna leave no choice. And they, believe it or not, they want that because this is when they want to implement their rules and regulations. Say, oh, you think you're gonna go out in the wilderness? We're gonna destroy that too. So this is a fight. All right. It says he divisive wicked devices. So divisive is what? Planning. So this wicked planning to what to do? To destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh rightly. Sorry, when the needy speaketh right. So when we talk about what's coming, they call us conspiracy theorists. Well, is it a conspiracy theory now? Revelation 13 and 15, it says, and he had power to give life into the image of the beast, which is the new world order. All right. That image was from the form of the Roman Empire. Okay? It says the beast is the Roman Empire. The image is New World Order. It says the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So it's coming to a life and death situation as we speak. Because these devils and their wickedness have duped the minds of the people. Once again, they couldn't do the things that they're doing without creating a system. And once you come out of that system, when they have no power, they have power over you because the Lord gave them power. But now they're gonna exercise that power by telling people they're gonna put them to death. And you, to be honest, you rather be put to death than to deal with the consequences of the repercussions of what they offering. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Receive, hold on, let me look up the word receive. It says dominia, which I think, is that the same word for nah. To give to, I'm thinking power. I thought that's what it says, to give something to someone of one's own accord, to give one something, to an advantage, to bestow a gift, to grant, give to one, ask, let have. In other words, they can't do it to you without your consent. All right? Without your conscious consent. They have to give you the option. And you consciously have to take it. And most likely you're going to get people by what? A life and death situation. So people be thinking like, oh, they're just gonna just put it in person, force. Nah, this is a thing of you want to do it or not type shit. All right. It says like the ooh, that's where they got the idea from. The servant had consciously had to make the decision to say, I'm gonna serve my master forever. So the same thing applies with this. Okay. It says to receive a mark in their right hand or on their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, which the mark goes to the word karagma, which means to insert. All right. To insert. So they stabbing motion. This is what they selling the people. This is their final conclusion of what they'll tell the zombies that they have in line. And once again, another tidbit, they don't care about majority of people because they want to manage the world to 500 million. So a lot of people aren't going to get nothing at all. Okay? Because you don't fit the criteria. Now they could instill it in people and then kill them off as they see fit. But they are ultimately want to run the world the way they want it. Okay? And we live in some evil, sadistic, the word once again, bad times, people that brings in bad times, the wicked that the Bible speaks of. It says, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, which we all know by now. Okay? And this is what they have planned. So going back to this, Isaiah 32, 8. But the liberal deviseth liberal things. Who's the liberal? The noble, the true nobles, which are the prophecy. How about Shem Yahushua? What is that liberal thing? The kingdom of heaven. All right. By liberal things they shall stand, which is, when it boils down to it, life or death. We would rather die. Okay. Then to do what? Going to the Revelation 14 and 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, which once again, the image is what? The New World Order. Okay? The promotion of one world government, one world religion, one world everything. Publicly, physically stating that Esau is your master. Point blank, period. Okay? It said receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Once again, you gotta voluntarily decide to do this. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. So this is a life and death situation that they put in the people in the world. And they created a disgusting, vile, dystopia system where people feel like they have no other choice but to fit in. And this is the results of that, if you decide to do it. And the Lord is so gracious, you know. And somebody might ask, I was thinking about it, I was talking about, what about the children that came in? Hey, the scripture says, over perish being innocent. Now, if those parents of those children voluntarily decided to do that, then that's the setup. All right. Because that's who they target. They really want to target the new generation because they can't deal with this resistance of the people that tasted that world. All right. And it says, and in the smoke of their torment extended up forever and ever, they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. And here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahweh Shai, which is heavy because that's what the saints of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai are waiting for. Because this is the last prophecy to take place. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation. Shalom.